So I think this movie premiered in Sundance in 2024 and it is finally getting released about a year and 3 months later. Magazine Dreams. Is your dream to be in a magazine? Let's find out. Chase Lee Hockey here with the Blue Futon reviewing Magazine Dreams. What's about pretty simple premise. Jonathan Majors wants to be in a magazine as a bodybuilder, and he's willing to do whatever and whenever to follow his dreams. However, there's a lot of different things going on in his life. His work, a girl that he likes, his boss, a paint store's cousin. What do we got? We got his idol, we got his parents, his grandpa, allegations, brutality, rape. I mean, the list, tumors, like some kind of autism, if you want to put it that way, or just a mental illness. What else do we got? We got something wrong with his brain. When I say it is overloading, it's overloading, but sometimes in a good way and sometimes in a bad way. So when talking about the positives of this film, you got to just say that Jonathan Majors is an amazing actor. I mean, he puts his heart and soul into it. He might be the part of Jeremy Strong when it comes to method acting, but it shows in this one where he got fit, he got buffed, and he just steals the every scene that he is in. It is that good overall for what he is able to accomplish in this film. I mean, to look that way, it's pretty damn impressive, honestly. With that, however, there's about 8 people in this film. I'd say half of them are older women, and they would not shut up sometimes. I mean, the first 15 minutes, it was nonstop. Like, ooh, Megan Good has it good. Ooh. And I'm just like, I just want to watch this movie. Do we have to have a commentary? And no, that the commentary didn't stop there. There was commentary throughout the whole film of what was going to occur, what was not going to occur, what was going to occur, what was not going to occur, and they wouldn't stop taking advantage of this, mental illness, this, and it's like, shut up, please, I'm trying to enjoy this film, and I can't enjoy it when you guys just won't stop talking. And the same people started walking in, out of the theater, into the theater, out of the theater, into the theater, out of the theater, like at least 5 times because they thought there was something that was going to occur at the end, and they didn't want to see it, so they left. Then it didn't occur, so they come back in, and they thought something else was going to occur, they decided to leave, they came back in. It's like, okay, I understand the implications that can occur at the end of this film, but stay your ass in your seats. I hate to say it, it's nauseating, and it's just very frustrating for a moviegoer who's in the back row that I'm looking at heads for a good amount of this time. I think the look of the movie is fine. It is a very minimal budget film, and you can completely tell it is like those indie Sundance films when it comes to what it's trying to say. And that is where I think the film maybe falters the most, is what it's trying to say, as well as how many endings it wants to do. Okay, so I'm good with this film when it deals with, it's going through the motions of like his mental illness, car wreck, this paint store, him trying to just calm down, and then trying to get with the girl. You can tell he's just a shy, awkward guy that's been in his whole world and doesn't really know the world. He just knows what he has experienced. And there is a mental illness with it, and with the liver, and with his parents. And like I said, there's so much piled on, but not a lot of it is explored, right? Because the first main thing we get with this is, he has a mental illness for sure. Sorry about this. Mickey really wants to come up here. A mental illness, sure. We understand that. We completely understand that. And then something happens with the paint store, and you show that it's getting worse and worse and worse with him just going ham. Every time he gets mad, he has anger management issues. Understand that. But then that kind of just disappears. Then it kind of shows up later on in this film. But then we get to a hospital, and it's like, something wrong with his liver, something wrong with his brain. We don't really talk about the brain, but we talk about the liver. And of course, bodybuilder can't have scars. Fair enough, but now you have scars on your hands and head. Whatever. Things like that. But after the liver thing, it just kind of stops. The head thing kind of stops. Yes, we get onesie, twosies things of him going to see like a psychiatrist, of trying to go through anger management, but it just kind of stops. And then, we're continuing on this movie, the girl thing happens, and then you learn about the parents, and you're like, oh snap. You kind of feel awkward just like she does. And of course he leaves, he has like a, eats a lot of junk food that he's not supposed to eat. Okay, fine. That occurs. That subplot completely disappears. Then the subplot of the paint comes back into fruition, and you're like, okay, fair enough. Kind of makes sense. Something happens. And then it comes back when he finally meets one guy by himself with his family. That scene, dead. The cop scene, dead. Because every time something happens with him and the cops or him seeing a psychiatrist, it's kind of like, these charges are pretty bad, and it stops. And then something happens at the very end with, like, a club scene. You're like, oh, it's not going to go that way. Change the storyline to Brad coming in the picture, his idol. Something happens with Brad. You're like, what's going on? Where is this going? This is complete left field. Then the screen goes to black. And then a gun scene comes in. You're like, oh shit, something's about to go down. Screen goes black, does something different, does something different, does something different. There's so many left fields, and this movie does not know where it wants to end. And I think that's where my frustration is overall with this film, is not knowing where it wants to end, and also just throwing so much at you, but then kind of forgetting a lot of the stuff it threw at you. And you're just like, okay, I understand people have shit luck. Agree. I mean, my shit luck isn't kind of like this, but my shit luck is like me going to Vegas, right? And I pull out 2 jacks. And I'm thinking, I'm golden. But then someone randomly gets 3 aces, and he has 1 ace and 2 show up, like one on the river and one on the flop. And I'm just like, okay, what is this? Or I get another pair of jacks, right? And there's this Vietnamese dude that calls everything. And I'm thinking, I'm golden. I lay the jacks down. He has a 4-8. You're like, what's showing? Like it's a 6 and a king or something. And I'm like, I'm golden. Then a 7-8 shows up, or a 7-5 shows up, and he gets a straight. And you're just like, how? What's going on? And it's just like you have bad luck like that, right? Where it's like, mathematically, I shouldn't get it. And the same guy, wasn't me an Asian, it has pocket aces. Same Vietnamese guy, 2 9s. Nothing, 9. Okay, so he wins. 4th card, ace. He gets it. 5th card, another freaking 9. He gets 4 9s. Like, what are the chances? And it was whatever. Luck, I understand that. So it's kind of the same way where it's like, okay, fair enough, but this is over and over and over. Like, we get the story of his parents, but it kind of stops. And so something at the very end with him, like, being tied up as a child, you're just like, what is happening? Like, what is occurring with this script? And that's what I think really falters with this movie is it's weird. Jonathan Majors throws his body at the screen. However, I think there's so many left turns, so many weird decisions in this movie where you just don't know where it wants to end, and just things where you're just like, there's no way. This is starting to get unbelievable, and you could tell the whole theater was starting to get very antsy the last 20 minutes of this film. But overall, Magazine Dreams, it's something to behold. Like, it is something where you're just like, you want to watch it and you want to see where it ends. But like I said, the last 20 minutes for me did falter a lot of this film. However, it's still a worthy watch. So Magazine Dreams will receive a 3.5 out of 5 Blue Futons, which equals that 70%. So see the critics and user scores gave this one. So you have critics say 80% with 138 of them. Audience score 92% with over 100. Critic consensus. Its dramatic form may get a little wobbly during certain reps, but Jonathan Majors' incredibly committed performance make Magazine Dreams well worth a watch. I understand that. I can. Truly. But like I said, I think there were some things in this movie where it just needed to stop. Like, just weird things with the character with blood in his mouth at a grocery store and what he does to the old lady. Things are just like left freaking field. 80, 92, 70. Chase out here with the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. One of the things, Bluetontopia, you Bluetonians. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. I'm going to watch this tape tomorrow, week, month, and a year from now. Every single freaking one of you. And what are your dreams? My dream is at least get one screenplay sold. Will it happen? Probably not. I'm not part of the Hollywood Cool Club.